Oh, it's John Black, Superchemist. We're at part 2. What is feminism? And like I was saying, they'd have, at times a CIA guy or a CIA asset or a guy that worked for the rich elites, that was put there as a guard in the library so that none of the students could get the actual books on feminism. None of them can actually get the books on anti-feminism, the women talking about how they don't want feminism, you know what I mean? They would tell them, what do you want to know about it, and we'll tell you, you know what I mean? And they would not give up the books. It was like against the law to look at these books at that time, where they were putting it into the colleges and teaching it in the classes. And why is that? Because they're putting it in little by little, you know what I mean? When they put it into colleges, they didn't put it in totally crazy stuff as bad, you know what I mean? But as it goes on, they get more and more crazy, right? They don't want you to see that it differs from what the people were saying. And also, they didn't want you to see that, more than 95% of women did not want the right to vote. And this so-called equality, which isn't equality at all, it's female supremacy. They just weren't racist against men, basically. You know what I mean? Women are just racist against men today. It's pure and simple. Because they've been taught this ideology to hate men. And then they that was how they did the propaganda, how they kept, just like today with the news, they just stamp down all the truth, and, the news tells all the lies, you know what I mean? They stamp down you can't go in and see the actual books that these feminists wrote, so you can see how crazy they were, you know what I mean? You can't go in and see that there's a lot more books by women saying this is calling feminists crazy people, you know what I mean? And hey, these are witches from the outskirts of town. They're nut jobs, you know what I mean? But women did not want these rights because rights come with responsibility. You know what I mean? Like to vote, the right to vote. Women understood that, hey, men don't actually have the right to vote, okay? They don't get a right to vote from birth, you know what I mean? They have to sign up for the draft. That's why they get the right to vote, because they're dying and fighting in wars. So they understood that, you know what I mean? Hey, so their thinking was, hey, women have a right to not die in a war, and men don't have that right. And men have the right to vote, but women don't have that right. You know what I mean? So they're equal. See how it's equal? That's called equality. You know what I mean? That way, yeah, everyone has the same amount of. They're not equivalent. They're not the same exact, but women are different. So they're going to have different rights, right? So they understood this back then, and they didn't hate men. They actually respected them for going to wars and dying for them and fighting for them in war zones, unlike today. Like I said before, if only women voted for women's rights to vote, then more than 95% would have voted no. They don't want that. Because women had common sense and believed in fairness and equality, basically. In other words, women knew they were privileged. Women are actually privileged the entire history of this planet, up till today. They have been privileged more than men the entire history, yet they act like they've been slaves or something. What are the 4 main goals, or what is the foundation of feminism? What are their main things, you know what I mean? Like saying Christianity, the main foundation is you got to believe in Jesus Christ to get to heaven. You got to follow the Bible. You got to do this, that. You know what I mean? But there's a foundation of it. The foundation of that Christianity is you got to believe in Jesus. Being the Savior and God and all that. What's the foundation of feminism? They have 4 main goals. Okay. 1, destroy the patriarchy. What is the patriarchy? That's basically the deep state. That's basically everything. You know what I mean? It's the cultural hegemony. Okay. If you watch my communism videos, you know what cultural hegemony is. You know, the patriarchy is basically everything in society. And if they want to destroy the patriarchy, the only way they can do it is by destroying every aspect of society, all the way down to the way people think and the way people talk. And what was the communist ideology? They need to destroy everything in society, all the way down to the way people think and talk. And only then can you build back better with a better, fair, communist society. It's the same. It's the same thing. The only thing is instead of calling everything in society capitalism, right? They're calling everything in society a patriarchy. But it's the same thing, right? Everything that is you can call capitalist in our society that is the patriarchy, right? So they want to destroy everything, and they can't, because another goal they have is create a matriarchy after destroying the patriarchy, right? And their thing is they can never make a true matriarchy until they destroy every aspect of society. Because every aspect of society is intertwined with the patriarchy's control and brainwashing on everybody, making it look like it's the same exact communist stuff, making it look like there is no racism against women, but that's all the patriarchy is racism against women. Okay, so the first one was destroy the patriarchy. Second goal, create a matriarchy after you destroy the patriarchy. Step 3, and these aren't steps, they're just, you don't have to do them in this order, these next couple. But they want to destroy the family unit. And why? Because the family unit is a patriarchy. So they want to destroy that, all the patriarchy, right? If they want to destroy all the way down to, every aspect of society, all the way down to the way you think and talk, obviously that includes your family unit. But they really have a hard on about killing the family unit, okay? And that killing the family unit kills, because you got it. If you don't have a good family, you don't have a good community. If you don't have a good community, you don't have a good society. All right, that's as simple as that, man. Because families teach cohesion, teach loyalty, integrity. And the last thing is they want to destroy Christianity, and to a lesser degree, all religions. The reason why I say Christianity is because mostly that's the biggest religion in the United States, and we're talking about America's feminists, not other countries. Okay, so they want to destroy Christianity because it's patriarchal. See, any religion that has a man as their god, like Christian, Jew, Muslim, whatever, yeah, those religions need to be destroyed, dismantled, and destroyed. Okay, they just have to be, because they're, first of all, they're patriarchal, right? See, that's why this is a religion, feminism, literally. You know what I mean? Like wokeism is literally a religion. Communism isn't really literally a religion, but it's so close to a cult that you could say it. You could say it's a religion. And what communism has, the god in communism is your government. You know what I mean? Who's the god in feminism? A female god. Who's the god in I forget what the other thing I named. But who's the god in wokeism? Again, that's the government. But anyway, so these are the 4 whatevers: destroy the patriarchy, destroy the family unit, destroy Christianity and all religions that worship a male god, and create a matriarchy. I mean, do you notice the similarities to communism? I mean, do you see it? Do you see it at all? The patriarchy is and I want you to keep in mind, this goes with the same thing with the white supremacists, you know what I mean? Oh, the white supremacists, and they had the KKK, and they had the people that were the white supremacists or whatever. Those were the elites who happened to be white. Okay, you just blame the white people because the elites control what you're taught in public schools. You know what I mean? But I lost my train of thought. But yeah, What's the patriarchy? Same thing. It's a small percentage of people at the top that rule. It's the elites. It's the same. It's the deep state. It's the elites. It's the rich people, right? But that's only a small percentage of men are a part of that group. Why don't we call the patriarchy the elites instead of the men? When 99.9% of the patriarchy is 99% of the male gender is not part of the matriarchy. Only less than 1% of men are in it. So why are we calling the patriarchy, blaming it on men? The patriarchy is the elites again. And why do we not blame the 100%, the elites that are responsible? And we put because they pick what's taught in the public schools and the colleges. Okay, that's right. So anyways, only 40% of men procreated in the past. Like before the 1800s, or the 1800s, or even the 1800s. 40% of men had children. That means 60% of men had no children. Okay, and you're talking about a patriarchy going back up, it's a patriarchy for the last 1,000 years. What kind of patriarchy? How is it a patriarchy if 60% of the men didn't have children? That means 60% of them pretty much didn't have sex, right? You're saying 60% of the group that's in charge of everything didn't have sex in the entire history of our planet, but they're responsible for they're responsible. They have the control. They're responsible for your oppression. How is that possible? Where only 40% are procreating, and yet you're blaming the whole gender because and out of that 40% that's procreating, they don't all have control. It's only the top men that had the control. But 100% of them were the elites, right? But we don't blame the elites. We blame the patriarchs. All men, even though most men, 99% of them weren't even part of it. But whatever. That's how humans operate. Okay. It's how non-Pastafarians think. You know what I mean? And also, I'm not exact about this percentage, but I think it's like 30%, somewhere around there. Today, like 30% of men under 30 are virgins, or they're sexless for the last 2 years. But they're the ones who have power. They can't even get laid. 30% of men can't even have sex. They can't even get laid. What kind of patriarchy? What kind of control is that? That doesn't sound like control. They can't even get laid. What the heck? And in the past, like the 1800s and before, like 60% of the men couldn't get laid. Like not just in the last 2 years. I'm talking their entire life. But the patriarchy held you down, huh? A bunch of men that didn't have sex their entire life. Yeah, they had a whole bunch of power to hold you down. But if they had so much power over you, why didn't they have sex? Okay. So anyways, we're on our last point here, or one of the last points. How do we know it's, why do I think it's supremacy? I mean, obviously, we've already proved it's supremacy. I mean, it's a witch religion, basically. That's where the word, they're always calling themselves goddesses. Why do you think that is? You know what I mean? Anyways, how do we know? In 1970, there was, or somewhere around there, the 1970s, there was a study saying that women make 70 cents on the dollar compared to men. I can't remember the exact whatever. Maybe it was 80 cents on the dollar. I don't know. But let's just say 70 cents, okay? 70 cents on the dollar compared to men. And they used this, right? They used this to rile women up. Look, we've had civil rights in the 60s, right? This is in the 70s, man. And women ain't getting paid the same as men. So, we're going to go into this on the next video. And we're going to talk about how this is a big giant lie. Okay, data manipulation